Let's neglect everybody else's find the button maps. 6-player peak, 40-player peak, 4-player peak, 100-player peak, 26-player peak. Then let's look at mine, 191. It wasn't always this way. You can see I was getting like 0-player average, 1-player average, and before this update, it had a 8-player peak, which is probably here. Yeah. So I've obviously learned a lot since then, and now I can explain why and how to make a good find the button map. The thing that I'm going to say here is this video is for absolute beginners only. I say this because this will teach you how to learn the absolute basics of either UEFN or creative. You'll be able to do both with this video. But after you've done this, I suggest this to be your first map. If you've already made maps before, then I'm going to say this is not going to be as beneficial for you to do unless you just want to do it for the fun of it. But let's get into the tutorial. We're going to start with something that's not so exciting, which is island settings. I recommend for your island settings to be cooperative, in between 4 and 8 players, total rounds on 1, auto start on. I don't see why this game would need to have a timer to start. It doesn't benefit from it at all. Join in progress, we have to change this to spawn. We do not want people spectating. Post game spawn, which island start after last spawn. We're going to have unlimited spawn, so this one doesn't matter so much. They also shouldn't really be getting eliminated unless for whatever reason you want that on, so we don't need to change those settings. Communication, we can put this to proximity chat. I didn't do this on my original one, but I will do this. I will go and update it to that because I forgot about this setting. 45, let's just say 60. When proximity chat first came out, if you had this on your island, you got in Discover basically. Continuing. Spectating a condition. We don't need an end condition. We want this to be like unlimited rounds. So make sure you don't have a time limit or any eliminations to end or something like this. Victory condition, and we don't need any of those. Health, shields, self-damage pickups. None of this needs to change. With this tutorial, at least nothing will need to be changed. That looks about correct. You could turn map to display overview map. You can disable this, not necessary. It doesn't matter so much, but we didn't disable that. So then now let's get started. First, we will add spawn pads, player spawners. We will add about 6 because our team limit is 6. Focus on the first room just being, for me this worked well, just a giant button. It explains what you're doing with the map. Straightforward, you know that what you're doing here is finding the button. We can add a billboard above it also saying find the button. There we go, they know exactly what they're here to do. It's a giant button. This one is meant to be very easy and simple to find just so they understand what they're doing. They don't want to get confused from the first second and leave. So, what do we want this to do? We want to set up a teleporter that will be connected to this button. So, click on this teleporter. We want to disable play sounds, conserve momentum. We also want to turn off group A on both of these, the group none. Disable teleport rift visible and disable play visual rifts. Okay, this will just help with the overall vibe of the game. Next, we want to actually create a spawn room. I recommend you work on this because it's the first place that they're going to go. I will show you my actual spawn room later on in the video, but for the moment it's just going to stay like this. So on this teleporter, you can open this in Creative 1.0. This is a tutorial for both. Click on teleport, and then we can go ahead and connect it to button. There we go. Simple, right? But here's where things get cool. We want to add, this will help you a lot. Add a trigger. We're going to call this trigger room counter. And then we're also going to call this next one. Actually, we don't need the next one for this specific tutorial. So link up an accolade device. Your map might not have XP from the get-go, but just in case you get calibrated, this will be a good idea. Link up to very small. Turn on triggering player only. Connect your award function to the trigger room counter. As well, create a tracker that will increment progress every time you click on trigger room counter. Go up to stat to track in your tracker and change that to events. Your starting value will be 0 and your target value will be the amount of buttons you have. Next, we will add a post process device. You're probably thinking, what the flipping flip is a post processing device for? Well, we're using this to create a more satisfactory feel when we click the button. So, post process effect, change this to happy place. Effect duration, maybe like 1 or 0.5. You can play around with this. Starting strength. I'm gonna show you my actual ones at the end of the video. But this will essentially, we'll play around with this. Effect duration 1, starting strength. We'll just choose actually that to be 0, I guess. And then blend in like 0.5. So this will just give us the screen will go saturated when we get a button, essentially. So then we want to have blend in for instigator connected to this trigger. And lastly, we want to set up a HUD message device. Set the message recipient to triggering player only. Display time to 1 second. And we're going to change this to custom. Screen anchor, center. Then placement horizontal, adds like 100 to that. Next, we will change HUD message to like congratulations. This is exactly what I did. I'm sharing with you the key things that help this map explode. Show from, connect to this trigger room counter. There we go. Every time this is triggered, it will show to the person that picked up the button. Now, this is where you need to start decorating the rooms. But as well, on each, click on your trigger room counter actually, and this will be triggered every time somebody clicks on the button. Okay. As well, actually, I know this is a complete beginner tutorial, so I have to explain this as well. Tracker title, we're going to go into the tracker title, and choose write in room number or whatever you like, but something like that. And then over here in quest icon, you can choose like a house or something. And then use persistence, we don't want that on because if they want to rejoin, try and do like a speed run or something, then we don't want that on essentially. Show on hold and keep that on both. If you want to change the color, you change it here. Ours will be fine how it is. This video won't be on how to do custom widgets, but I might have a video out on it by now if you check my channel. Anyway, now this is how you set up all the functions of it. Because I am just doing this for tutorial purpose, we're going to add a prefab just of McGuffins. Wait for that to come onto the screen. I'm certain I dragged it on. Must not have. It's okay. You'd place it better than this. We will place it better than this, actually. So, example, if this was a prefab that I actually was using, I'd make sure that you can't escape. I'd either put a lock device on this door and set it to locked, or I'd change the wall to a wall that can't be escaped from. Anyway, let's teleport this in. And here you see we would be teleported here. So next, it's just the same process. You'd put a new button in. Say it's there, for example. You would now have button 2. And when you find this button, you would get teleported here. Set up the same settings, of course. And then I have one more key trick, so keep waiting. I'll explain it soon. On this teleporter, set the same kind of thing anyway. Teleport from button 2. I'll just click on it though. On interact, there we go. So this will take us to the second room. We do that for every single room. On the last room, let's say this was the last room. Button 3 would be the last room, for example. We would then need a new teleporter to bring them to the beginning. Set up the same kind of things for this tracker too. Oh, teleport, this is a teleporter. Set the same settings. Teleport from button 3. So there we go. This would get you back to the beginning, and you could retry again if you wanted to, which increases replayability. Another thing that I did, I had a barrier device, and behind this barrier device there was some gold coins you could collect. To get through this barrier device, there was 2 things I could have done. I could have connected it to completing the room, all the rooms. But what I did was I connected it to a timer. This timer was on game start. It was a long timer, as well as the setting we need is applies to everyone. We need to change that to player. And then when it's completed, we need this barrier to, okay, I made a mistake here. Click on the barrier, add player to ignore list, and then link that to timer device on success. Perfect. What I didn't do yet is add the collectible coins behind there. Let's go ahead and put some collectible coins behind here and collect an accolade device. Put the accolade device to like large, same kind of settings as before. triggering player only. Award from, connect this to collectible object on collected. Respawn. Hold up, actually. I think I might have missed a collectible setting. Superlit by self. Okay, no, these settings are okay. Keep these the same. One thing that you're going to also add, we haven't discussed this yet, is an analytics device. Well, you're probably thinking, what's the point of this? Well, the reasoning behind adding an analytics device is you're going to name this, for example, room 1 complete. And submit event when they press this button, for example. And you do this each room 2 complete, and change that to this button. The reasoning here is if we see a massive drop off in the analytics in any specific room, then we know that that room needs to get changed to either easier, harder, or something. Then we've basically covered everything, I think. Oh, okay. One last thing. I think I got interrupted. Add another tracker, and inside of this one, change stat to track to time elapsed. Play time elapsed. Put this on like 15, 20 minutes or something, maybe 30 minutes. And we want the player to essentially want to stay in the game to get this XP reward, right? Playtime XP. Then we need to add another accolade device. We're just going to duplicate this one. Award from tracker 2 on completed. And we want it to be a larger award. This is essentially all you need to set up and find the button map. I'm going to now show you what my one looks like and give you some tips. So here you go. There's one thing I missed. There you go, guys. This way it's important to stay to the end of the video. In the first room, add a creator profile. This way they can like your page or like you as a creator, and then they'll play your future maps, which is what you want as well. If enough people like it, then what will happen is you got a high chance of going on discovery. Another tip: make an incredible amount of rooms, because a way that a button room kind of functions, some negatives with it. The playtime is related to how many rooms there is and the difficulty. You need the first rooms to be easy, and the later rooms can get harder. But the issue with this kind of map is the replayability. So you really need it to kind of pop off. So let's continue watching. It doesn't seem to be letting me watch actually. Let's I just decided to actually open up my world. It took a while to load. Here's some things that I missed out. I added a global leaderboard that's connected or right next to a create a profile device. So to try and make them join my Discord so that they can go on this leaderboard, which gets them in my Discord, as well as makes them want to maybe replay the game. Obviously, hopefully. Here's the 30-minute timer. This is the spawn room. It actually looks quite nice. I'm gonna turn it up a bit. Let's go look through the rooms. Earlier I talked about the happy device. These are the actual settings I have. If you want to copy them exactly, go for it. There you go. That's one thing I missed out. Adding a checkpoint to each area in case in your room they go somewhere they need to respawn. It saves them from spawning all the way back here. So that's one thing I did miss out, adding checkpoints. But I'm just showing you what each room looks like. Kind of small. They don't have to be like this. They can be big rooms. later on in the game, we switch to big rooms. These, or from like here onwards, or at least this one, and this one, are all prefabs. So you can make your own rooms or you can use prefabs. It doesn't really matter so much. But hopefully you enjoyed this video and it's helped you. If you wanted to watch me revive this map, how I got it from 8 players to 200 players, it's basically this video that you just watched. But I'm going to link a video over there as well, over there even. And I also have a course for absolute beginner to get publishing their map. That's the first link in the description.